So Polly Mikula from the Mountain Times, editor, owner, publisher. Thanks so much for joining me on this kind of series that we're doing through the KPAA, just talking with different folks in the Killington area about the crazy times. I mean, to call it anything else would be weird, but just the crazy times that we're living through right now. And you obviously work a lot with small business in and around the Killington region. And just from your perspective, some of the things that you're hearing, that you're seeing from small business and bigger businesses as well.
Yeah, it's certainly a challenging time. I think this community is incredibly resilient. The governor has put in place the necessary social distancing regulations, I think, in a very timely manner. I think those have been well rolled out, and I think mostly people are respecting them. I think we will see that starting to work, but this is a different kind of crisis. It is a long, drawn out challenge, and nobody really knows, and that's part of the unrest. It's part of the thing that's hard for the community to, but businesses and individuals to we can't actually physically get together.
Right.
We can't have, concerts that, raise money to help the people who are most affected, and things we've done before. That doesn't mean that the community isn't rising to the occasion. There's a ton of creative fundraising and also just social support for those individuals who are isolated in their homes, many of which are laid off. I think there's a lot of challenges people are having. Obviously, working from home with kids has its own challenges, as we both know.
You and I both know that. Yeah.
But I think our community is really resilient. I know we'll get through this. I hope it's shorter, than some of the worst
than is predicted. Right.
Yep. Like I said, I do think that the social distancing will work. I hope that Vermont will fare better than some of the cities, because we do social distancing a little better. It's easier for us. We have less density.
So you brought up, not to interrupt you, you brought up something about what a resilient community Killington is. And in the not too distant past, we had a huge disaster with Irene, and the community and the region really rallied, as Killington was literally like an island unto itself. But it was different, and you alluded to it, that we could console each other, we could get together, we could have groups, and that is not a way of coping and dealing with it in this case.
Right, it's different. That's not to say people aren't doing it. There's big pushes to buy gift cards, local gift cards, to use later, when things open, or to support the dine out, dine out establishments that are still open and trying to serve food. I think it's pretty cool and different that, it's now allowed to get to go cocktails. I haven't had that yet, but I do look forward to getting one sometime, just because you can, and because it helps support local businesses. And we all normally spend quite a bit of money out at the restaurants and bars in the area, and it's a good way to try to support them through it. Now there's also GoFundMe accounts that have started up really successfully, and like we were talking prior to this recording, people are putting Christmas lights up, and just doing things that bring joy. People are sharing funny videos of their dogs on, and it's all those little things that wield the connection, and remind us that we are part of a really resilient community. We have some letters to the editor in the paper this week that are incredibly touching about the successful food program that the schools are doing for needy kids, and just all kids, the way that the school is maintaining that sense of community and continuing to educate the students of the area, and also the seniors. There's been a lot of organizations that have reached out to the Killington Seniors Group, and they're incredibly grateful for the camaraderie as much as the financial support. So I think we're still doing amazing as a community and really reaching out.
I don't know if what I've kind of seen is, in the initial days, kind of doubt as to what this is really going to be. And then a little bit of frustration because we're having to alter our lives, our work, our families, and people get annoyed and frustrated with that. But then really coming out on the other side of it with the positive. And you had mentioned the type of programs that are happening around the Killington area with a GoFundMe page that a local resident had started, that we actually pushed out through our Facebook page, helping folks who have been laid off. The school has been unbelievable in the restaurants. There are so many restaurants that are just feeding families for free. I mean, they're not asking for any type of reimbursement. They're just doing it out of the kindness of their heart to just be a part of the community.
Yeah, I mean, those type, and they're struggling. These are restaurants that don't have the business coming in that they used to. They have staff that they have to still pay. They have buildings to upkeep. The bills don't all go away when this happens. So it's more of a it's more of a toll on them than many people realize, and yet they stand up. And that's just amazing. I think that there's 10,000 examples.
Right. Absolutely.
And it's truly,
and more will come. More will come as the weeks go on.
And when we do flatten this curve, which I think we will see, as the testing increases, we're going to have more cases and it's going to look worse, but it's actually going to be better because we'll know who's contagious and hopefully be able to do that contact tracing and limit the exposure to other people. But I do think that Vermont, in the next couple of weeks, we'll see some progress with social distancing and with that contact tracing. And then, once we start going down the other side, there will be even more hope out there. It'll be like, we can do this, we can get through it. It's a little hard now. We don't know how long. The messages from, the beginning to now have changed so much. It seems like the news story is changing hourly, and we go from, having parties at Easter to this being an 18-month slog. And you're like, oh my God, I don't know what to plan for. And I don't know that I can handle this for 18 months.
Right.
And of course, I think it's obviously going to be somewhere in between, hopefully on the shorter end.
No doubt. So,
but we will come together. We will, there will be times for benefit concerts. We will get there again, hopefully this summer. And it will take some time to build back our community and the economy here. But I think the stimulus package will help individuals and small businesses. That just passed on Friday. So there's a lot of details to be worked out.
Right. And so I think that's a really great point. And again, the business that you are in is of information flow, and it seems so crucial. And I know I found this from my position as executive director, to try to keep the information flow constant, to try to keep it as up to date as possible. I'm sure you're finding the same thing.
Oh yeah, it's a struggle for the news industry as a sector of the economy. Advertising dollars have obviously dried up, so we have less money to do probably more work. The information is, that's
a great point.
And we're all trying to figure out how to do that, because it's your mission. You can't just close shop. Not that that's easy to do either for those businesses, but we have an obligation to our community to get the information out and to keep it going, and actually even more real time. Our digital platforms have been incredibly useful because quite frankly, a weekly newspaper, it's old news. It's great for consolidating the information that you really needed to know, but people want to follow it real time. And of course you can do that with a 24-hour news cycle for national news, but not for local news.
Right.
What's happening in Killington? What's happening in Rutland? What's happening in Woodstock? What does the governor do? How many cases do we have? When are the testings going to be at Rutland Regional? These are the things that people want to know. They are expanding testing. You don't have to have, the worst case scenario to get a test these days, but it's different. Every hospital is different. And every hospital and every doctor, or region with their doctors has slightly different protocols. And as tests become more available, those will be changing. So it's important to get that, like you said, that information out to people. And so we've started additional newsletters. We've started updating our website multiple times a day, just so that if there is something really out there, and then obviously pushing it to social media. Right. Just to reach as many of our readers as we can, however they're getting their news.
So if you can't go out and grab your newspaper, because you're trying to stay home and stay away, check out your website.
Yep, there's flip books of the whole newspaper. If you like that format, you can even just read it as if it's a newspaper on any device.
and you're on the Facebook. You're on Facebook.
I'm on the
So
Facebook.
so
We're on
you're
the
keeping
web, we're on the Facebook, we're on the Instagram, we're on the Twitter.
good.
But it's mountaintimes.info in case you haven't been to our website in the past. Check it out. It's good information. If you do have any feedback, please leave it. If you have any story ideas, please leave it. If you want to share a fun photo that you think will make the community laugh, share it with us. We are a community paper. We rely on the community to reflect the community. So any of that, any of those contributions would be greatly appreciated. And it's a way to help local journalism too.
Well said. Polly, thanks so much for taking the time. I'll let you get back to work and back to your daughter.
All right. Thanks so much, Mike. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Take care.